group on 4 points. Slovenia on 2 points after that draw earlier, as are Denmark, Serbia with 1 point after the earlier draw. And this Group C is going to go right down to the wire. England against Slovenia in that remaining game on match day 3, and Denmark against Serbia. We heard a lot of boos at the end of that game, James, and we don't know where they came from, but we can take a good guess that the England fans are not happy.
No, look, I think we got away with one today. For Denmark, it's an opportunity missed because I feel like England were there for the taking. But even with the final whistle, they're hunched down on their knees, they're lying on the ground. They look shattered. They look, I don't know, just look flat. And it was that kind of summed up the performance from start to finish, just flat.
It's the second game of a major tournament. How, like, if they are that knackered, Shay, we don't know what's going on there, but the body language is just emanating from these players that there's something not right.
Yeah. I mean, Stephen Trippier there at the end, dragging the rest of the team over to the England fans. They clapped them. I don't know what's going on, to be honest. I mean, it's 4 points. They'll argue and say they're more or less in the next round, but at the same time, I've already sort of repeated myself. If you want to win the tournament, if you want to have any sort of chance of winning, and again, they're one of the favourites, Jackie, to win the tournament. We've not seen that. I've not seen that at all. I mean, the Denmark manager talking to his players now. He should be very proud of his team.
Yeah, well, compare it with what you're seeing there.
Yeah, I know. He's happy. I'm sure he's really happy. He's telling them we were brilliant tonight. We probably deserved to win the game. We will go through if we play like that in the last game. Denmark were really good, but then the questions are over England. How poor were they, and how poor were they? In the first game, yeah, they scraped the 1-0. Tonight, it's a 1-0. It's an average performance, and again, Southgate, there's lots of question marks over his future. Is this his last tournament? But if they keep playing like this, it will be his last tournament.
Well, the thing is, Richie, after the first game, there was the questions, and everybody was thinking, are we overplaying this? Is there too much hype about this underperformance by England? The questions are only going to gather even more momentum after that.
Yeah, I mean, being booed by large sections of your own fans at the final whistle tells a story. Look, maybe fatigue after a long season is an issue for some of them. Maybe the pitch was difficult for some of them. Maybe they're buckling under the weight of the jersey. They're buckling under the weight of being tournament favourites. We could run through other possible reasons for a performance like that, but a performance like that is going to frighten nobody. England are playing in a way that would make you want to play them if you met them in the last 16. Like, where's the dangers? Look at tonight, look at the other game. Where is your sources of worry? What are they doing really well? What's their plan? I still don't know what it is.
Well, that's the big question,
I don't know if Southgate knows what it is.
I don't know if he does.
Right, and then the subs that were made with 25 minutes to go, people will say there was a bold call. He took off players with big reputations, but performance-wise offered very little. It was a straightforward call. It was the practical, rational thing to do.
Can any of you tell me, Shay, what they were actually trying to do? What is the plan?
Is that our job on here? I don't know. If we don't know, they don't know, and it seems that Gareth doesn't know what the plan is. But again, Trent Alexander-Arnold could take him off to start of the second half. Why not take him off at half-time? You could see in the first half that clearly wasn't working. You could see in the first game that wasn't working. But again, managers can be stubborn. This is how I want to set up. This is how I want to play, and I will stick to my personnel and my team shape. But at times it isn't working. I think fans will sit back and go, you respect a manager more to go, I got that wrong. I'm going to change it. I'm going to put someone else in there. We're looking for Anthony Gordon, who's probably been player of the season from Newcastle. I've not seen him. We're looking at Cole Palmer there, a shot of him towards the end of the game. Player of the season for Chelsea. We've not seen him. And we're talking about all these attacking options. And yeah, they made 3 substitutions later in the game as well, and they're more attacking. I get that. But at the same time, I don't know what the word is. I'm looking for it. It just lacks something. There's something. It feels like something really bad's missing.
Intensity's just very safe, very safe. Like, just never really got going, did they? It's just like I said, everything was just in front of Denmark. It was comfortable, and yeah, look, you need to buck up their ideas if they're going to go on and achieve anything.
Is it a worry now though? Because that's 2 games in a row that the same thing.
It has to be. Like, the big thing is they won the first game. They got away with it. They got the win. Well, today they didn't. So there's going to be even more criticism off the back of that. But it's been 2 lacklustre, flat performances. And look, I think now after 2 games, he needs to change something up. The one player who was actually trying to take risks, Trent Alexander-Arnold, was actually sacrificed for doing so then. But at least he was trying to take risks. But it cost him a place on the bench.
Yeah, well, they have drawn this game. It's a goal apiece. And Group C, Plenty to be decided, but England, for the moment, have a lot of question marks and a lot of head scratching to do. But it's the England fans tonight who will be screaming because there's a lot of words that I could use to describe their performance, Richie. We'll go for sloppy, but there's plenty more that you could pick.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot. You could go through each player, you could go through each area of the pitch, but there was a kind of a theme that ran through the whole thing, which is just the decisions the players made on the ball and their execution of what should be really basic things at this level. Kyle Walker passes it straight back to the Danes there. Gahey decides, for whatever reason, I'm going to start dribbling out and go past 2 Danish players right in front of me rather than pass it 5 yards. Rice and Alexander-Arnold get themselves in a knot here, but I don't know what is he even seeing there. Baffling stuff. Back to the goalkeeper here, and then Rice makes himself available. That's a 20-yard pass to someone who's unmarked, and he misses the target. And here again, Rice and Gahey. If he was a bit quicker and a bit sharper and less indecisive, he'd 2 teammates racing in on top of Pickford and could have created a goal-scoring chance. So this is separate to discussions about formations and personnel and what's the plan and what are we good at. That was basics, and it was all over the pitch. It was mad stuff.
It's football 101, some of that stuff, isn't it?
Well, again, they're getting away with it to a certain degree in the sort of group stage. When you get to the quarter-finals, semi-finals and finals, you're going to come up against better opposition, and they will punish you. If you play like that...
You won't get the ball back.
You won't get the ball back for a start, but if you give them sort of chances, they will take them and England will be going home.
Yeah, well, speaking of chances, they did have a few, you know, so they actually did create some opportunities in this game.
Yeah, look, from here, look, there's just obviously great individual play by Foden. But the two big chances they had come from 2 players. The only time in the game making a run beyond the Denmark back line here, and look, he's actually unlucky. Look, his touch taken him away from
And in
goal.
fairness, Saka did try.
You know, he did try, like, run on behind, and then the other chance, big chance, comes from Watkins making a run on behind him. Bellingham finds him. Like, again, that's just a shot from distance and good defending. But again, look, you have Watkins here stretching the play, run on behind. It's a great pass, they find him, and it's a good save. But the 2 times they've gone on behind the Denmark defence, they get their 2 best chances. So it makes you begs the question, why do they not do that more often?
But Harry Kane doesn't do that, does he? Harry Kane doesn't make them runs.
So if that's the case, you've got to get 2 wide players in, or your midfielders run when he drops deep, run them behind him, and it just doesn't happen.
But again, is he going? You wouldn't drop Harry Kane, your captain, your main, you know, or is that a question that might get asked in the next couple of days?
I don't think you drop Harry Kane, but you got to play 2 players in when he does drop on, are just going to be like this, 2 arrows just behind him.
Sounds like a simple game when you make it happen. Interesting comments from Kyle Walker. I think he said top of the group 5 times there, Richie. And the other thing is, he's saying there, Gareth Southgate is not telling them to drop back, which is interesting. So is that the players making the decision that we're going to sit back after we score?
If I was him, I'd try to steer the conversation the same way. We've got 4 points, we're top of the group, let's move on. As in, shut up talking about the performance, stop asking me about it, let's just move on to the next one. He said a lot there. He kept saying that it's tournament football. I don't know what that means. And he was kind of saying, you know, they have expectations to go out and win 3 or 4-0. I'm not sitting here being critical of them because they didn't steamroll Denmark, was the phrase he used. I'm sitting here being critical because the basics seem to abandon them. And just the basics, the package we showed a moment ago, and we know the individual brilliance of the players, but collectively there was just a drop in standard, energetically, fitness-wise, there seemed to be a bafflingly low level, and that kind of that oomph or inspiration or spark or something that you can muster as a team to go on and get a second. There's no one creating it. Those are the questions. I don't mind him saying people expect us to steamroll and we can't steamroll everyone. I'm not saying that. I don't think anyone is. Everyone will be saying, not why weren't you brilliant, it's how come you were awful.
And I think, in fairness to him, first of all, that's a very difficult position for him to be in, James. I mean, you've been there, you know what it's like when you're put out there. But also, I think he's referring to the expectation that is put on their shoulders, and they can't do anything about that.
No, they can't. And again, that comes down to the media and the much pressure the media puts on them. But I think what he's saying is he's trying to focus on the positives. They are top of the group, and, you know, they'll more than fancy their chances against Slovenia. The one thing it does do, though, it makes that last game a little bit more nervy for them because, look, in football, anything can happen. And if they perform the way they performed in the last 2 games, you know, it gives Slovenia a better opportunity than probably what they had. So it makes it a little bit more nervy for them going into the last game now.
Well, if they are trying to lower expectations, they're doing a pretty good job of it, Shay, I think.
They're doing a brilliant job. I mean, one of the lines he said as well, they're blaming the defence if he goes forward too many times. Kyle said there in his interview as well, which I find a bit... That's the sort of line that jumped off the page for me, because I think Kyle at Man City, Pep Guardiola said, keep you bombing forward. You're one of the most offensive full-backs in world football. And then his mindset there tonight was like, well, if I go forward too many times and then they break, and I can understand a little bit, but at the same time, I think that comes from the manager. You know, if Gareth's saying, just keep going, just keep bombing forward, you'll get chances, you'll create width, you'll get balls in the box, they'll create more chances. But again, I know it's all about balance. But that line to me, again, goes back to me what we talked about at half-time before the game. There's a little bit of a fear factor with these England players. That's how it seems from the outside. And even that one line from Kyle in his interview is like, well, if I do that, they'll be blaming the defence. They, as in maybe the manager. They, as in the media. They, as in the pressure.
Because he's saying, like, they've been told they play free-flowing attacking football, but then he's saying if I do that, then we're going to get blamed for it. So it's kind of contradicting.
Yeah, that line that, and again, maybe we're being unfair, jumping on every phrase used by a player in a post-match interview in difficult circumstances. You know, so sometimes you just get through the interview, but if take him literally as being true, that the manager sent them out to play free attacking football. That was his phrase. Like, what the hell does that mean in relation to how they played? Where's the... Join those 2 dots. Like, lads, go out and play free attacking football, and let's assume they know what that means. And let's say there's a plan. But they played yet again like there was an absence of any kind of cohesive plan. Do you know the way sometimes you watch a team and playing well or not, you can at least know this is what they're trying to do. Playing through number 10, going at the left wing, the right wing, aiming at the centre forward, doesn't matter. You can see what they're trying to do. It's still hard to pick up a pattern.
A lot is just off the cuff, isn't it?
John Stones mentioned as well before the game, they've made some tweaks in the last couple of days in training since the first game. I didn't see any tweaks. I didn't see any difference in how they played or we'll show a few England chances, whatever, but nothing. There was nothing major there. There was a few chances, long-range shots James done before, but nothing, like there was no sitters, there was no Kasper Schmeichel, I don't remember making a brilliant save or anything like that, and that's the England you expect. That's the tournament favourite you're looking at.
Yeah, because at the other end then, it's actually Denmark who look more likely to score. When you see some of their chances, Shay, they could easily be the ones who said, we got this result.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the very first minute of the game, Jackie, this is, and you think that, you know, England will come out of the blocks and start the game well, and this is the first minute, and Denmark really, you know, play the ball into their half, and it's a lovely 1-2 in the edge of the box, and it's Højbjerg with the shot, and it's just how the game sort of panned out from there. It was, they had, yes, you could say there's a few long-range shots as well in this. I think this is Eriksson with the shot over the bar. Maybe he could have brought it further forward. This is a brilliant chance from Christensen, just inside the 6-yard box. Gets very lucky there, and Gahey loses him on the corner. And again, I think there's another shot from Højbjerg on the edge of the box, but you know, this is England, some desperate defending, some desperate chances. Pickford's, it seems, nearly blown that wide. He wasn't sure that was going wide at all, the goalkeeper. So, again, you know, if it was a solid defence and you know, Denmark didn't create any chances, you'd be going, well, at least they're really tight at the back. But again, a better opposition or a better finisher or the right choice at the right time, then they will get punished.
Yeah, because even the goal that they did get, and credit to Harry Kane, right man in the right place, but it was almost from a mistake from Denmark as opposed to England creating.
There was no almost, it was actually from a mistake. You can see here, Christensen, he just doesn't realise that Walker is behind him, so he goes to sleep. And this isn't a pinpoint pass to a centre forward who's free. It's a ball into the box which takes 2 deflections of Danish defenders. So they got a stroke of luck there that it fell into the path of the striker on the 6-yard box, who obviously is not going to miss at all. We talked about his performance or his play the other night or tonight, but he's not going to miss that. But that's a gift. As much as the Denmark goal was capitalising on Kane's error, England's goal was capitalising on Christensen's error and 2 fortunate deflections.
Yeah, which is funny because in 2 brilliant technical teams who've given us such great goals over the years, even the Danish goal, same thing as Richie says, it's just mistakes. It's not brilliant creativity.
No, it's not, but it's come from a mistake. But you got to give credit to the lad for the strike because it's absolutely sensational. Like, but again, there's no pressure on the ball, so he's able to take a touch, look up, line up the shot, and there's still no pressure on the ball. Taking nothing away from the strike. It's like I said, it was a sensational strike. But just there, like someone get out, and then even when they do come out, they just fling a lazy leg at it. Like, come on, just show a bit more desire to try and block the shot. But look, the keeper's got no chance. It's a brilliant strike.
He had a lot more to do, in fairness, than Harry Kane did. I don't think it's totally fair of me to say, well, they just both pounced on mistakes. He had a lot more to do.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. We'll give that one a little bit more quality.
Between the players or between the fans?
Fans first, and then you can talk me through the players.
Anger. There'll be anger from the fans. They'll not be happy. If they weren't happy after they won the first game, so they'll certainly not be happy tonight after that performance in the draw. The players, frustrating. They'll be frustrated. They'll be a bit annoyed, but it's different. It's different for the players because they know that they're the ones that can put it right. They've got the opportunity to fix it. But between now and Tuesday, I think the English fans, the English media, are going to have a feed day.
Yeah, they are, because, Shade, this is what's going to happen over the next few days. The pressure cooker is only going to boil up. And, yeah, look, they're still going to go through to the knockout stage, as you'd imagine. And I'm sure that Gareth Southgate will do his best to just keep saying, we're working. But it's just, how do they continue to build momentum like what Kyle Walker is talking about and just move on and get on with this tournament? Because it's easier said than done.
It's easier said than done, and it will be a field day in the next few days with the media and social media. And if I was the players, I wouldn't be switching it on, because there's a lot of criticism coming in already. Be interesting to see if he gets, what Southgate says later on today about the game. But for these players, the fans, you could see at the end, they were really disappointed. There feels like there's no spark in the team. There's no excitement. This is a major finals. You're one of the favourites. You should be playing with a swagger, nearly an arrogance, a confidence, creating loads of chances. And then you can draw against Denmark because they're not a bad team. And, but Kasper Schmeichel coming off man of the match. If Kasper could have left his gloves in the change room, he hardly get tested at all,
Yeah.
So the fans are all scratching their head. And now, because on the back of that performance, that's why there'll be a pile-on in England and the media and stuff, because they're thinking, they'll be all saying, we've got no chance. They've got no chance with this manager in charge. He's too negative. We've got no chance with the players. The body language going over to the fans. Their shoulders are slumped down. It's a lot of negativity. And yes, they'll go to the next stage, but at the same time, you don't watch England and go, tell you what, I wouldn't want to play them in the next round.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd actually be the opposite.
And that's the point you were making, because it's not just the fans who are going to be scratching their heads. Like, if you were Guardiola or Arteta sitting there and having watched these players play all season, you're like, who are these imposters on the pitch?
Yeah, Kyle Walker made... I mean, it's unfair heaping on him, but he's the only player who's come out and said it. Like, he kept mentioning the expectations. I think, to be fair to everyone who's disappointed by the level of performance those England players gave, it's not because, and I'll put myself in that category, it's not because we've unrealistic or massive expectations that we've plucked from our backside. It's based on what we've seen from these players.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't have been able to show footage 10 minutes ago of them failing to find each other with basic passes. We just shouldn't have been able to do that. But we could have doubled or trebled the length of that footage if we wanted to. But we're just making the same point again and again. So it's baffling how they can collectively drop their standards by so much, but that's what they've done. So the tone of Walker's interview tonight, the interviewer kept pressing him for, what are the reasons? What's going wrong? How can you explain it? I think that's going to be the tone of all the questions they're going to get between now and the next game. And the only way to answer that is to play really well and in a way that was very different from tonight. But it's very difficult for them to answer those in any meaningful way, because that means they're going to start criticising each other.
We've also seen him clearly now publicly seen to say that this experiment wasn't working with Trent Alexander-Arnold. He made a whole host of changes as well. Do you expect him to pick that same team again for that final game?
No, I don't expect him, and I don't think he can. I really don't. Again, we were probably surprised a little bit that he started with that formation. We were surprised he didn't change it at half-time. Not formation, but personnel, perhaps. We've seen play different system. Free at the back, for example. Kyle Walker is a right-sided centre half, and Trent Alexander is a right wing back, perhaps, and just try to mix the whole thing up. I think what he does have is playing against Slovenia. In my opinion, he's got a freedom to mix it up, to change personnel. I already mentioned Anthony Gordon's been brilliant this year. Cole Palmer's been brilliant. Eze's been unbelievable finish to the season at Crystal Palace. Will he start these players? Will he give them the opportunity? And even Walden from Crystal Palace as well. There's no point bringing in these players if you're not going to give them the opportunity. But then I still think there'll be a stubbornness in the manager, because he plays these players. It's like these other ones weren't good enough, or they got it wrong with the first two team selections. So it brings it back to the manager again. So I hope he does, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think that is collectively the way everybody feels after watching them for the last while.